Mellow greetings, citizens, and thanks for joining us as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the cartoonish sci-fi comedy Demolition Man.
Two mortal enemies from another time will be unleashed on a future that isn't big enough for the both of them. Demolition Man.
This big-budget gem was dropped into the no man's land of early October 1993 with substantial fanfare and high expectations. With the megawatt matchup of a fully jacked Sylvester Stallone and a cocky cool Wesley Snipes, the movie was directed by Italian artist and filmmaker Marco Brambilla in his feature film debut. And let's be clear, he hit this thing out of the park. Its crisp original screenplay by Daniel Waters, Robert Reynow, and Peter Lankoff spoofs consumerism, the nature of law enforcement, capital punishment, and the idea of placid societal calm. And it doesn't stop there. The movie features wall-mounted anti-profanity ticketing machines, silly salutations, touchless cybersex, ultra-political correctness, advertising jingles as popular entertainment, and an upscaled Taco Bell empire.
Dinner and dancing at Taco Bell? I mean, hey, I like Mexican food, but come on.
Enjoy your meal, sir.
Good thing I'm hungry.
So be well, enhance your calm, grab a ghetto beer, expensive, and a rat burger, fine, and let's step even deeper into this cult classic that made 3 seashells into an unsolved pop culture mystery. More like poop culture. More about that later. First, for context, remember this was 1993, in the void between Batman and Alien movies, when audiences were just beginning to understand their ravenous appetite for smart, sophisticated genre fare. Demolition Man was released by Warner Brothers and budgeted at about $70 million, a monster sum for, back then. Sly plays super cop John Spartan, also known as, yes, the Demolition Man, a renegade LAPD detective blamed for a massacre that involved the apprehension of Snipes' criminal overlord, Simon Phoenix, in the year 1996. Both dudes are put into the deep freeze in the maximum security California cryo penitentiary, where they're kept in suspended animation as incarcerated ice cubes. That was water with ice in it. 36 years later, Phoenix escapes a routine parole hearing and launches into a crazed rampage across the crimeless post-quake zone of San Angeles, California.
What seems to be your boggle?
My boggle? How much do you weigh?
Well, I happen to weigh 6.
Unprepared, authorities panic and call on the archaic methods of Stallone's de-thawed Spartan to stop Phoenix's murder, death, kill spree. Die Hard and Lethal Weapon producer Joel Silver hired TV commercial director Marco Brambilla after Stallone was securely attached. The original picks for the 2 leads were Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme, but neither wanted to play the villain, so they both exited. Kung Fu master Jackie Chan was targeted to play the psychopathic Simon Phoenix, but the actor ducked out early for fear of negative perception from international audiences. To get Snipes to play the psychopathic Simon Phoenix, Silver and Brambilla visited Snipes on the Rising Sun set to convince him to play the part. Eventually agreeing, Snipes brought a raw mad dog attitude and potent martial arts skill to the role, improvising many of his best lines with bold bravado.
Exactamundo.
It was Brambilla who insisted Snipes go blonde for the film, something Snipes hated, and following the film, he swiftly shaved his head to erase the golden tint. But Chicago Bulls basketball star Dennis Rodman was so smitten with the look, he adopted it for himself after seeing the movie twice on opening day. This was also one of Sandra Bullock's first major roles before Speed rocketed her to superstardom. Her Lieutenant Lenina Huxley perfectly paired off with Stallone's gruff Neanderthal sergeant, and their chemistry was a huge reason for the flick's global success.
What are you doing?
Breaking the law.
You are a savage creature, John Spartan, and I wish you to leave my domicile now.
Her character's name is a nod to British sci-fi author Aldous Huxley, whose 1932 novel, Brave New World, predicted a utopian society that enforced societal calm and conditioning through prescription drugs, sleep learning, and procreation conceived in artificial wombs. Lenina came from one of the central characters in the book, which endures as a cautionary tale on the regulation of morality, class separation, and reproductive controls inflicted on a drugged dystopian world. All things examined in D-Man, using an antiseptic comedic overlay.
Even kids with chicken pox love hot dogs. I love hot dogs. The dogs kids love to buy.
Funny Man Dennis Leary delivers an electric performance as the grungy underground resistance leader, Edgar Friendly. Fresh from the stand-up circuit, the ranting comedian was initially nervous during his first feature, but he settled nicely into a convincing rhythm as he rebelled against Dr. Cocteau's passive conformist society.
I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in a non-smoking sector. You live up top, you live Cocteau's way. What he wants, when he wants, how he wants.
The film's crew had some heavy hitters, including costume designer Bob Ringwood of Dune and Batman fame, editor Stuart Baird from Superman and the Omen, and acclaimed cinematographer Alex Thompson, the visual wizard behind the camera on such epic fantasy films as John Borman's Excalibur, Ridley Scott's Legend, and David Fincher's Alien 3. But let's talk about that opening scene explosion. That was filmed with 13 cameras running after an all-day setup involving demolition crews and added stashes of explosives. Brambilla was in a helicopter watching the inferno as the old Los Angeles Department of Water and Power building was razed. Already scheduled for destruction and enhanced with canisters of gasoline, it was the first LA building demolished in 30 years, and at the time was one of the biggest explosions ever captured on film. Demolition Man has uncanny knack for accuracy in predicting how technology and trends would eventually be integrated into our lives. Fast food restaurants have gone gourmet, in fact, which is not to mention self-driving electric cars equipped with GPS, smartphones, surveillance cameras, smoking bans, biometric implants, video conferencing, handheld computer tablets, and even mentions Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming the President of the United States.
Hold it. The Schwarzenegger Library?
Yes, the Schwarzenegger Presidential Library.
Haha, I wish. $69 million worth of slick futuristic cars were provided for free by General Motors and were based on actual ultralight concept vehicles being developed. For gearheads, Stallone's roaring muscle car he bursts out of the slums with was an original Matador Red 1970 Oldsmobile 442 bought from the GM Heritage Collection. The actual hero car was sold to a collector at the Scottsdale, Arizona Barrett-Jackson auction in 2011 for $93,500. Multiple food franchises were considered in the pre-production process, but several shied away due to the film's R rating. Taco Bell was ultimately signed and even aired commercials associated with it being featured as the sole survivor of the fast food wars. For the film's European release, the more prominent overseas brand Pizza Hut was substituted.
My reward is dinner and dance in a Pizza Hut? I mean, hey, I like a big fat piece of pizza, but come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Pizza Hut was the only restaurant to survive the franchise war.
But Taco Bell still has a dog in that fight. This past summer, the fast food chain recreated the Demolition Man restaurant at San Diego Comic-Con for the movie's 25th anniversary. Demolition Man was a hugely popular cinematic romp and raked in $159 million worldwide in its theatrical run. Not bad for an R-rated feature released in the quiet of fall. It spawned a swarm of tie-in products, including a DC Comics miniseries adaptation, Demolition Man attire, Sega video game, pinball machine, and Taco Bell meal deals.
The Demo Deal. Buy a Burrito Supreme, nachos, and a large drink for one low price. And get an official Demolition Man movie poster absolutely free today.
Contrary to belief, the end title song Demolition Man, written by Sting, was not created for the movie. It was originally recorded by Grace Jones in 1981, but later re-recorded by the Police for their 1981 album Ghost in the Machine. Sting re-recorded it specially for Demolition Man, and producers added a 90s techno beat. No matter how you slice it, Demolition Man remains a shining example of effective Hollywood filmmaking operating on all cylinders, and Stallone and Snipes at their peak performances. Now, back to those maddening 3 seashells. Director Marco Brambilla went on record to say that 3 seashells bathroom gag is no actual answer, was conceived by screenwriter Dan Waters as a funny throwaway.
So much for the seashells.
But that hasn't stopped fans from trying to explain how such toilet technology might be employed in the future. Give us your best guess in the comments, and tune in to SYFY WIRE for more explosive news from the infinite geek galaxy.